Ladies and gentlemen, these are dark times. We have the COVID, which brings with it fear, panic, death, and a financial uncertainty for this country, for this nation, for this darkened world. We have aggression, bigotry, and violence causing uprising in various places of the world, along with outrageous racism. We have countries in argument, verging on the brink of war, and we have countries in full-blown actual war that hardly make the news these days. Dark times, and dark times indeed.
Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, grab yourself a juice or a beer. I'm Zoopy Goggins, you're a frag freak, and that is why you're here. Now, I actually spent quite a long time in debate about whether it was appropriate to just carry on about fragrances, not so much as if like nothing's happened, but just, you know, in lieu of what's happening at the moment, I didn't know whether it was entirely appropriate, and I was going through some strange stuff about it, and then I thought to myself, you know, things are bad. Of course they are. Things are really bad at the moment. Let's not forget that. No one, we can't forget that, can we? But this is when people need entertainment the most. And on that basis, I thought, get back to it, because people need to stay happy, don't they? And the more we have to take our minds off this terrible set of events that's going on at the moment, the better it is going to be for everyone. So here we are then. Here we find ourselves. Right, I've got quite a simple one for you today. I mean, it's kind of quite packed, but it's quite simple. It is, in fact, a disguised top 10. I haven't called it a top 10 because, I'm not going to stoop so low as to call it a top 10 just for the clicks. And what am I talking about? What do I mean stoop so low? It's a well-known fact that calling something top 10 is going to get it views, isn't it? I mean, I could make a review called Top 10 Bollocks Fragrances, and it'd probably get more views than one that I called
My Favourite Artistic Perfume.
I'm going to make a fragrance review called Top 10 Bollocks Perfumes. It'll probably do well. So anyway, what I'm going for today, right, these are just strong designer fragrances, all right? Now, I've tried to not use ones that are either discontinued or reformulated. So these are all things that you can, with the exception possibly of one, these are all things that you can still get right now that are still good, right, if you like this kind of thing. I'll start off with one that not many people are just gonna go, oh God, do you have to? But yes, I do, because I do like it. This one is by Dior, and it is Sauvage Eau de Parfum. It's generic. You can say everyone wears it. Not everyone wears it. Lots of people wear it. What do you mean everyone wears it? There's not enough for everyone to wear it. There's almost enough for everyone to wear it, which is probably financially quite a good thing for Mr. Demoschi and the rest of the Dior crowd, right? It's bright, it's crisp, it's zesty, it's likeable, it's very good performance, it's an average kind of price, and it's cheerful, it's likeable, and it does, like I say, have wonderful performance. Some people hate it, but it's a compliment getter, no doubt, as I've found out myself. Dior Sauvage, great performance, lovely perfume, if you like that kind of thing. And I do, it's not one of my most standout and favourites, but I do enjoy it and I do wear it quite often. Well, I say quite often, probably about 5 times a year, something along those lines. There you go, number 1. Number 2, I'm going to go through these sort of generic-y, boy-y kind of ones first, alright? This is the one which I was saying that there's possibly a little bit of doubt about whether it's still relevant. This is my Versace Eros, and this one is pre-2017. In 2017, something happened to Eros along the lines of a big reformulation that was quite bad. This stuff has amazing performance, the older ones, and I think that the modern stuff still does have quite good performance, which is why it snuck through on this, because I think that it's just not as good as it used to be in terms of performance. This one, again, it's bright, cheerful, a little bit zesty with a lot of lemon in here. There's vanilla, and it has mint, and it's very aquatic and sort of slightly floral, but it's very sweet and punchy and loud, and I do wear it often, that one. I really like that. That's a 200ml bottle. It's about coming up to halfway used, and this is the second, right, of my bottles, and I started wearing it in about 2015. So in between 2015 and now, I've used nearly 300ml of it, right? Fantastic. I love Versace Eros. Don't let anyone tell you it's crap. But you can tell, I don't, whatever. I think it's great. Oh, look at the bottle. It's fantastic. Come on. Right. Godly, right? Then, along similar lines to Eros, if someone tells you don't buy Eros, right, and you're so easily swayed and suggestible that you don't, but you like the idea and the smell of it, this one is Porus Silver. Now, it's quite similar in effect and even smell to Versace Eros, but it does have some differences. It's got a slightly boozy smell in here. There's almost a sort of vodka type smell in here, and it's quite clear, and it's peppery, and there's sage in here, and I can't remember. It's very simple notes breakdown in this one. I think it's something like sage, musk, vanilla, pepper. It's only got about 4 different ingredients, so-called, apparently. But it creates the same kind of effect as Eros, except it's slightly drier, slightly more peppery, and there's not quite that same lemon kind of effect in there. I really like it. The performance is excellent. I've got a review of this one and Eros and various other ones as well if you want to. I'll link them down below if I can get round to it, whatever. That one's very nice as well. Yves Saint Laurent Porus Silver. Moving on, I've got another freshie, right? It's kind of a freshie, but this one is nuclear. Now, a friend of mine did a review on this quite recently, an Instagram post actually. Hi, Nigel! And he said that it was very nice and all that kind of stuff, but he said that it's kind of average performance. This one is Azzaro Pure, Azzaro Chrome Pure, I believe. Let's just have a look. Yep, Azzaro Chrome Pure, and it's very tonka heavy. It's a little bit lemony, I think. By the way, it's going to become quite apparent that I haven't done any recent research on these. I'm just telling you these from what I can remember of them, all right? I haven't read about any of this recently. It's very, very full of tonka. It has this kind of dry tea-ish smell, which I think is mate. Mate is some kind of tea thing. I've had mate, I think it's mate powder. Anyway, it smells dry, a bit like the leaves of black tea kind of thing. All tea is black until you bloody put milk in it, isn't it?
What are you talking about, mate?
Yeah, I think so. Unless it's green tea, in which case it's green. But yeah, it's tonkery, lemony, dry, powdery, tiny bit metallic almost. And performance is nuts, superb on this one here. I mean, to me, it's an utter beast. I've had somebody say, "Oh, what are you wearing?" one time, and it was like, I think it was either really, really late on in the day from I don't remember. It was an obscenely long time since I'd put it on. It could even have possibly been the next day. Azzaro Chrome Pure, bright, fresh, but thick and sweet and heavy at the same time. If it doesn't make any sense to you, just get yourself a little smell of it one time. It's actually really nice, and I like that one as well. Moving on. Another one which is powdery. Oh, should I leave this one? I'll do it now. This one is Burberry Brit Rhythm Intense. Now this one, it's leathery, it's citric a little bit, I don't remember any of the notes at all, it's peppery, and it's very heavy in tonka again. Yep, it's tonkery. It's got some, I think, something like orange or orange blossom in here. That's what it smells like. There's something that this really reminds me of, and it is Chanel Allure Sport Eau Extreme. Chanel Allure Homme Sport Eau Extreme. Far too many bloody words for one fragrance, if you ask me. But it's got a very, very similar vibe to that. And this one is, I'll try a bit more of the description before I start. It smells a little bit sagey, peppery, citric, powdery, tonka in here and leather, but the leather is really soft. It's not like a heavy, harsh leather like in, you know, some of those really heavy leather fragrances like La Yucawam or the Tom Ford one or whatever. It's very soft. But performance is superb on this. Now, let me tell you something very, very quickly, because otherwise it's going to drag on, isn't it? Where you can get this from, where it's not reformulated, is Savers. Yes, I work there, who cares, right? But the ones that we have are 2014 batch, which is why I bought a 50ml, a 90ml, and another 90ml of it, because this stuff is old, 2014. I've checked it all. One of the ways to check is because it doesn't have any cellophane on the outside. The older ones, they didn't come in cellophane. The other way to check is to check the batch code, which is what I did, and these are 2014, okay? And Savers have lots of it, and it's only 23 quid or something, £25 for a 90ml. That's my advert over, all right? Burberry Brit Rhythm Intense, absolutely fantastic, compliment monster as well, and very, very long lasting. Okay, we'll move on. Next we have one that I really like. It's very different and unique. This one is Ferrari Lessons Oud. Now this one, ladies and gentlemen, is a monster. Okay, it's very, very, very strong. It's very different. It's got this very strong oudy smell, but it's quite synthetic. Of course, obviously it is, because it's probably not real oud, but it has a licoricey type smell in here. I don't know any of the notes whatsoever in this, right? I think that there's some kind of incensey smell. There's incense, there's something like benzoin, something like, I think it's one of those sort of generic-y kind of, they just call it incense. It might be like that, or it could be something like one of those resins. I don't know, whatever. There's loads of them, isn't there? Frankincense, myrrh, or what's the one I'm thinking it is? I can't remember. It doesn't really matter, does it? It smells incensey. And then it's got this kind of licoricey kind of sweetness to it. It smells dark and dense and a bit sugary. And there's a slight smell in here which smells a tiny bit of like a candle smoke. You know when you blow a candle out, how that smoke smells? It smells a little bit like that with all of those smells in there as well. It smells a bit weird, and it is a little bit weird, but it's very, very good performance, and it's a nice fragrance. Anybody who's not really into oud or is new to oud or whatever, give that a try, because it's kind of on the easy to wear side a little bit, as long as you weren't to go too heavy on it, and literally me, of course, in which case you just drench yourself. And I'm looking for some more of that, actually. I think you can still get it. Because I checked all of these to make sure you could get them still. Right, so move on. The next one for you, many of you know how much I go on about this fragrance, right? Still, to this day, from 2015 to this day, I've been going on about this fragrance. And also, back in the 90s, I used to wear it, okay? So I'm a long time ambassador for this fragrance, right? This is Giorgio, Beverly Hills for Men. Absolute monster, beast, unique, really, really, really good, different, and fantastic performance. It has been reformulated several times down the lines, obviously, because I think it came out in the 80s, right? But even the modern one is good, right? God knows, I must have only used a couple of sprays back then, because I don't remember being overly amazed by how strong it was back then, but I wasn't really into fragrances back in the 90s. But this one, it's full of patchouli. It's got honey, patchouli, florals, and a muskiness, and some spiciness in here as well. I think there's cinnamon. Very, very masculine, brutally masculine, and pungent, and very kind of old-fashioned smelling, but still, I would say, relevant in this day and age. I have had compliments wearing this one before, but they are thin on the ground, and it's people would say, you know, steer away from this in the sun, but I've worn this one mostly in the sun because I think it's really good. It's got these bright elements to it. It's got an aldehydic sort of brightness as well, some citrus underneath all this heavy sort of patchouli and honey and muskiness and spiciness in there. It's actually very, very wearable. Extremely nice. Excuse me, I've got a slightly itchy nose. Giorgio, Beverly Hills for Men.
Absolute beast.
Fantastic. Hairy chest stuff there. Right. Moving on. This one. Armani Code Profumo, which is a parfum concentration. When I first discovered this one, oh, it's beautiful. Really, really beautiful. I I was in a shopping centre and my wife came up behind me. She wasn't my wife at the time. This would be the last time I itch my nose, all right? I say that and it probably won't be. I don't know what's going on. There's an insect up there or something. It could be my hair. My beard's getting a bit unruly. Can you see this? It's the lockdown beard. It's disgusting, isn't it? I'm wiping my nose and then touching my fragrances. You're probably all there going, oh, anyway, sorry about that. I do apologise. This one, it's leathery. Although that leather is... It's only there because I know it is. Because I've read... This is ages ago, mind you. I'm just purely going on memory again. It's sweet. I think there's tonka in here. There's orange of some kind. There's cinnamon, maybe. There's definitely cardamom. I can smell the cardamom. But it's sweet, it's dark, it's heavy, it's rich, it's cozy and warm. It's very inviting, and it's got that kind of vibe like Dior Homme Parfum has. It's not really the same kind of fragrance, but it's got that coziness. It's comforting. It makes, it's a hug inducer. It makes people want to be closer when they get, within range, if they can manage that these days. My wife can, and she likes this one. It's her, obviously, who got me to notice it. I think I skipped out on that bit of the story, didn't I? I won't go back on it in case I already said, but anyway, she introduced me to this one, and I still love it to this day. I think it's absolutely beautiful. Really, really nice. Armani code Profumo. Gentlemen, ladies, and various denizens of the existing world. Next, we have one of my all-time favourite fragrances, right? This is Jaipur Homme by Burberry. It's a eau de parfum, this one. There is a eau de toilette as well, which I've never tried, but apparently that's very nice as well. This one can be a bit thick for people, but I love thick and heavy and cloying. It's my thing. I really like it. So the thicker and heavier, the better for me. This one, its quality transcends how much it costs. It's unbelievable. The performance is extremely good, but it just smells divine in quality. It's creamy. I smell something along the lines of sandalwood. I actually can't remember the notes of it, but there's a citrus opening in it, which is, I think, lemon, and then there's definitely spices. There's cardamom in here. So it's spicy, it's rich, it's creamy, it's oriental smelling, and it's difficult for me to describe it because it's just one of those things. It's very, very unique. It smells unisex to me as well, and the quality is just absolutely superb. So in a nutshell, it's sweet, spicy, creamy, oriental, very thick and heavy, and just an absolute delight. I'm easily going to call this one a masterpiece. This is a 10 out of 10 fragrance for me, absolutely no doubt. It's actually in my top 5 fragrances of all time. On Fragrantica, you've got your little thing where you can choose which ones are in your best. This one's not moving from that. Now then, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for number 10. This one has a special place for me because it's just insane how good it is considering the price, and it is also very overlooked. I've been telling people about this one for years as well. For as long as I've known about this, I've been saying, try it, man, to these people who are into niche fragrances and stuff. And either they're too embarrassed to come back to me and say, you know what, you were right, or they simply haven't tried it still. This one is Police Icon Intense by the fashion house of Police, which is an Italian company. This one is a eau de parfum concentration. Yeah, the bottle looks a bit maybe teenagery and Darth Vaderish, but I think it's excellent. It's what's wrong with it? There's nothing wrong with it at all, and the fragrance is insanely beautiful. It is. I'm going to spray some on now because I've already got something on, but I don't care. I love my layerings, and I'm going to give you a little smell of. I'll give you a little smell of this one. There you go. I'll give you a little description of this one. Okay, there's a sugary sweetness. It's like a brown sugar sweetness Then there's a spiciness. It's like a mixture of spices. I think it smells to me like cardamom and nutmeg and cinnamon and things like that. Those sweet, heavy type of spices. Then there's a patchouli, and there's a very boozy note. It smells like rum, and that sugary smell is like a brown sugar smell, muscovado sugar, maybe even something verging on dried fruit like raisins or dates or something like that. So it's kind of a datey, raisiny, dark sugar, damp smell with patchouli and spices and this rum kind of smell to it, right? And there's orris root in there, which smells like iris. So there's that slight kind of lipsticky, almost kind of makeup-y sort of smell in there. But it's so complex in all of its different facets. But it is so simple in its objective and how it ends up, and just being this one thing that you just go and it's a smell. It's quite linear, but it's stunning. It's the most amazing, one of the most amazing designer fragrances that's, that is niche quality as far as I'm concerned. You can put that in a niche bottle and only experts would be able to say, no, that's not a niche fragrance. It's that good. I urge anyone who's interested in this to try it, because you can get it for 30 quid. As far as I'm aware, there's no reformulation issues or anything like that. It's absolutely unbelievable for the money. It really is. I have more than one bottle of it, and I don't intend to sell any of them, right? Performance also, by the way, is through the roof, first of all, and secondly, I get frequent comments and compliments with that one. From women, men, dogs, and lampposts, and everything. I get, it's through the roof. Compliments and comments regularly, okay? So that has been my 10 strong designer fragrances. Hope you've enjoyed the video. It's great to be back. I'm well and everything. I hope you guys all are. So, it just remains for me to say, first of all though, comment if you want to, subscribe if you like, comment if you want to, all those. I've forgotten how it goes now. It's been so long, I've forgotten how my own thing goes. Comment if you want to, like if you like, subscribe if you would, hit the notifications thing, got it. And then it just remains for me to say, safe man, chill out, enough respect, and I will catch you next time. Sweet.